Hi, my name is Clint Winter, Instructional Technology Coordinator for Elbert County School System. And this video is to show you how to best use Google Classroom in your class. So Google Classroom is a great way for teachers and students to be able to communicate, to establish a workflow with digital devices, and for teachers and students to be able to talk beyond the traditional classroom walls. So when you first log in, you're going to go to classroom.google.com, and it might prompt you to a screen like this. So you'll put in your Elbert County email address and then your password that you created. Then once you do this, it'll look like this. I've already created one class. When you first start, you'll have nothing here, and then you will be prompted to either say I'm a teacher or I'm a student. So if you're a teacher, be sure that you choose teacher. If you're a student, be sure that you choose student. So I'm going to click on the plus sign, and so I'm going to go in as a teacher, and I'm going to say create a class. So give your class a name. You can be as broad or as specific as you want to. You can put the section number or the subject. And then after I click create, it's going to take a second, and then it's going to come up like this. So this is the way that students will see it when they go into a classroom as well. So let me just kind of give you a tour of what things are here. If you're not wild about this theme, you can select a theme and change the way that your classroom looks like. You can also have a pattern. So maybe I just want to choose the guitar. Click select class theme, and that's going to change that. So that's just how you want it to look. You can also upload your own photo. Alright, so stream is where you're going to go in and you're going to create your assignments. We'll go over that in a second. Students. So if you notice right here, there is a code right here. So students go to classroom.google.com. Right up here earlier where it said create a class, they can click join a class, and they can put this code in. You can reset the code. If say you have somebody come in later or something like that and give them a new code, you can. You can also invite students. If you don't want to do the code, I found the code's the easiest. But you can click invite students, and then you can type in the email or the name of the student. You can also, once students are in here, you can put in their guardian's email address, and then they'll get updates about things that are going on in the classroom. Alright, and then let's go talk about the about section. The about section is where you just put in what your class is about. But what's great is this is also a good place for you to attach any syllabuses that you have or something that's not going to change, that's going to stay static throughout the year. Alright. So anyway, those are those tabs. Now let's talk a little bit about creating assignments and questions. I'm going to go back to stream. When I click the plus sign right here, I have several options I can do. I can create an announcement. So an announcement will just be, hey, don't forget to bring your device or something, just something you're not going to grade or something you're not going to look at. You're just telling the students in your class something. Then you can create an assignment. So if I do that, this is what's going to go out to all of my students. So first I give it a title. Alright, and any instructions that I want to give to these people, you can use your textbook or whatever. I can choose to give it a due date or not. So if I give it a due date and time, it's going to not accept assignments after that due date. They can turn them in late, but it's going to come in as late. It'll look like late for you and for them. So maybe I want this due on the 4th, and then I can also, if I wanted to, tell it exactly what time for them to be able to turn it in. I can add a topic. So if topic is easy for me to think about, is like if I think about like a big folder and I want all my Unit 1 stuff to be tagged to this topic, it can, or Unit 2. So I'm just going to do that. We'll say create a topic, and we'll say it's for Unit 1. Alright, so once I do that, I'm going to scroll down, and now here are my options. If I have a file that I want my students to be able to see or something, I can click right here on this paperclip, and I can upload a file. Now remember that our students have some of our students have Chromebooks. So if you have a file that's not a Google Doc or something, they might not be able to see it. Alright, so you can upload a file that way. Or you could click on Google Drive. So this is something straight from Google Drive. So say I wanted to send them this presentation that I created. I'm going to click Add. Here's where it's cool and advantageous to use a Google document, because now I can say students can view file. That means they can just look at it. Students can edit file. That means every kid in my class can edit this file at the same time. Or a very popular one is make a copy for each student. So if I do that and click make a copy for each student, every student will get a document that's shared with me, the teacher, and that student individually. And it'll already be named for them. It'll be their first name and last name. Alright, so when I'm finished with that, I can click Assign. When I do that, it's going to look a little bit different in my Google Drive, in my Google Classroom. See, I have 0 done and 0 not done. Well, that's because I don't have any students in here. But if I had 18 students in my class, it would say 18 not done. And as those students get that document, it will have a turn in button at the top of their document. When they click turn in, it'll start populating the done in here. Alright, so that way I can keep track of who's done and who's not done it. Alright, if I wanted to, I could go back and edit this assignment at any time, so I can click edit. Now maybe I want to put in a YouTube video, so if I click right here, I can put in a YouTube video. If I click right here, I can insert a link, and that link goes out to everybody. So maybe it's a link to an article that we're reading, or it's a link to some practice or something. You can click right there. Alright, so that's how that works. What you can also do is you can ask your class a question. So if I click on create question, then this is going to be where, I could have my opener or my closer there, and students can comment on the question and they can type in real fast. You can also do true false, or you can do multiple choice. Alright, so if I put in a question, put instructions if I wanted to. Like I said, you can do short answer, multiple choice, true false. And by true false, I can say you could just say true or false. Then you can have students where they can reply to each other, so they can have a discussion, or you can have it that students can or cannot edit their answers. Alright, and then I'll click ask, and it shows up in my feed, and it shows up in my students' feed as well. Alright, so the last thing is that once you start having a lot of posts, you can reuse the post. So I can go in and click right here, the plus sign, and I can come up and say reuse post. And here are all the posts that I've already done for these classes right here, even if they're archived. So if we use this year after year after year, you can still use the same questions and the same assignments. Alright, last thing. When I create an assignment and it says no due date right here, I can actually give it a due date, and then I can choose, when we were talking about that, but I can choose, this is what I'm looking for, when I want to schedule that assignment. So I can click schedule, and then it'll go out. During our collaborative planning, I can go and say this is going to go out on August 1st at 8 a.m. or I can change whenever I want that assignment to go out, so it can go out at 12:30. So I can go ahead and create all my assignments, and then throughout the time it'll automatically do it. Alright, so thanks for watching. Please email me if you have questions. cwinner@elbert.k12.ga.us. Thanks for watching.